Hello everyone. So it's been a while since I've posted a video to the channel. The end of June I had eye surgery on this eye. Um, and I had a vitrectomy almost exactly 1 year ago today on this eye. Um, and a few days after that uh, vitrectomy, went back in for a follow-up examination, and it was discovered that I had developed a post-operative infection in this eye. And the infection had scarred the cornea, destroyed the lens, um, also did some additional damage to the retina. So, and that all that damage was cleared up. The fragments of the lens were removed, and the cornea was scraped clean of the infected material. So, 10 months went by, and when they came back and refilled this eye, they only filled it at 40% with silicone oil. Now, the silicone oil did its job. It laid the retina down and made sure that the retina stayed attached to the optic nerve. But because it was only 40% filled, the area that wasn't covered by oil developed new scar tissue. So the surgery I had at the end of June was to clean up that scar tissue. Um, he removed the existing oil, which was 1,000 weight silicone oil. They have backfilled that with, I think it's roughly 80 or 85% with silicone oil. But this time it's 5,000 weight silicone oil. Over the last year, they had not been able to get pictures of this eye. Now they're able to get pictures of this eye. The retina is laying flat. It remains connected to the optic nerve. With the new coverage of the oil, everything should stay in place. The only remaining issue, and I am gradually picking up a little bit more vision in this eye. The problem has become is that the retina in this eye is now relatively thin. There's not a lot of photocytes left on the retina surface anymore. So it's kind of a big question mark on how much vision I will get back ever in this eye. So it's going to be a big wait and see, probably at least another year. That's the bad news. Now the good news is, and it's hard to believe that it's good news, but this eye is at 20/40 vision. And given how badly it had been detached, that is actually very good news. Now, I just had last week a shot of Avastin put back in this eye. I know it's right now it doesn't look very good. I think the shot caused a blood vessel to rupture, and you're seeing, if you could see that, you're probably seeing that right now. So that'll take a few days to go away. But in the meantime, I haven't done a whole lot in the last couple of months, photography-wise. Because in conjunction with that, with the last surgery, I had to keep my head down looking at my feet for a couple of weeks. Also, in the meantime, I basically retired from my full-time job and have been trying to figure out how to get my days going. With me retiring, I had a significant change in insurance, um, which took a while to sort out. That is now sorted out. I have a new primary care physician, and had to go through a whole bunch of red tape to get the referrals needed for my retina surgeon to be able to see me again. That's just a whole mess. Uh, so anybody dealing with mm, medical and insurance issues, I understand your pain. Um, and it's just so expensive. Uh, I, of course, made too much money to qualify for any subsidies, so I'm paying full price for insurance on my own. And of course, it won't be enough to take advantage of the tax deduction to offset the standard deduction at the end of the year. So, um, all that's very annoying. Anyway, going forward, it's also extraordinarily hot here in Central Florida. Um, every day for basically the last month, we've been 90, a lot of times 95, with heat indexes between 105 and 120 degrees. Um, so it's very unpleasant outside. Um, I don't have any additional pictures, but as an update, the watching the caterpillars and the monarch butterflies, um, that turned out for the butterflies to be way more successful. And unfortunately, we just got the handful of pictures. Um, it took longer um, than people had, and some of the information that was provided online. It took significantly longer for a lot of those monarch butterflies to develop. So at one point, my wife opened, we have a little tent. You put the plant, butterfly plant, in there while it's covered in the worms consuming the plant. Um, and they had it literally down to just sticks. Um, and then the pupas had formed all over it. So we just stuck the entire plant in this little tent thing. And I want to say it was about a month later, my wife opened the tent and there was roughly a dozen butterflies inside, drying their wings, and she let them all take flight. And unfortunately, I got no pictures of the event because this, of course, was during my time of staring at my feet. So anyway, so going forward, um, I'll be taking the X2D and the new lens, zoom lens out, and shooting with that combination. And then alternatively, I will also use my 907X and use some of the other lenses, the 65 millimeter and the 80 millimeter that I have. Somebody, and I'll respond here shortly. I've never been able to use the 90 millimeter lens. There's no place for me to, that I have found anyway. If somebody has a suggestion, I'd appreciate it. So I've never gotten the opportunity to use that 90 millimeter lens to compare it to the 80 millimeter. So I can't really tell you if the 80 is any better or worse. I think the reason I picked the 80 was it had a faster aperture. uh, than the 90. Uh, Now, maybe that wasn't a great or a good trade-off. I don't know. As we know, medium format, um, the difference between the 80 and the 90 millimeter, the 10 millimeters, is not quite 10 millimeters in 35 millimeter equivalent. So it'd be like an 8 millimeter difference. Um, it's all a trade-off. What I do like, um, and I'm sorry, I guess the Hasselblad lens is more comparative to the configuration that I had in my Leica Type 109. Not quite, but it's very close, with the additional benefit of a 100 megapixel sensor versus a 12 megapixel sensor. Um, so I'm very excited to be able to have that combination, because I love shooting the Leica Type 109. It was a great little pocket camera. It did a wonderful job. And when I think about the weight of, I believe I had a Canon 1DS Mark II at the time, which was 16 megapixels. I'd take the Leica any day of the week, just for its versatility. Not to mention the fact that the weight factor by itself was a huge factor. I shot tens of thousands of pictures on that Leica. Hoping to get the same kind of mileage out of this Hasselblad combination, though the weight is not a benefit here. The Hasselblad is, of course, an extraordinarily heavy camera. You know, maybe down the road, I potentially like to get a Leica Q series camera, but I would prefer, and maybe I go back into the Leica Deluxe series for it. I don't know. I'm very conflicted about that. I do have the Leica M11. That's a very good camera. I am not using that camera as much as I thought, but for the time being, I'm not using any of my cameras as much as I would like. So hopefully once this heat breaks and I get a little healthier, we'll start taking more pictures. So anyway, at this point, I'm on the verge of rambling, so I'm just going to end it here. I'd like to thank everybody who's been visiting the channel. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how well the channel's performing over the last 2 to 3 months. And hello to the new subscribers, and we will continue this voyage very soon. So thanks, have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye.